Hi, this is Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin. We are about to commemorate the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor Day. It's something that means different things to people of different generations, but indeed, it is a day that has lived in infamy. What does the historical significance of this day mean to us today? As Mark Twain noted, history may not repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And we've seen indications that have struck the American psyche from time to time of what the impact of something like Pearl Harbor means to the American people. I encourage you to bring your family to go to the Frazier Museum starting December the 6th and then continuing through March of 2017. There is one of the finest exhibits ever put together commemorating Pearl Harbor, to understand what it was like for those that were there. It's important that we understand our history so that we don't, in fact, repeat the worst parts of it. This is important, and it's something that it matters to us here in Kentucky. We are Kentucky, and I encourage you, please, to take young people in particular to go to the Frazier History Museum, downtown Louisville, and learn more about Pearl Harbor Day.
This year, of course, is the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Many of our veterans who fought in World War II are no longer with us, and we felt it was important to make sure that we commemorate this time so that people today can see what it was like back then, because there are many similarities to things that we're facing today.
Well, here at the Frazier History Museum, we pride ourselves on sharing stories that matter to the people of Kentucky and the people in this world that we live in. And this being such a rich veterans and active military community, the story of Pearl Harbor is so important. And what we can learn from Pearl Harbor moving forward is so important. So we think this is an exhibit that everybody should bring their family, their children out to see.
Starts out December 6th in a club environment. It could be an enlisted men's club, it could be an officers club there in Waikiki and Honolulu. And of course, the morning of December 7th was very different than the night before. But the night before, there wasn't a sense that something would happen, you know, and so people were going about their daily lives, and then they were taken unawares at the attack. So as you move into the exhibit, you see artifacts and scrapbooks, letters, and mementos of servicemen and women on both sides of the conflict. Then you move through a ship's hull environment with a sight-sound experience and a timeline along the wall of the minute by minute leading up to the attack. So you can feel a little bit of what it may have been like.
You step into the hull of a battleship and there's a lull, and there's a kind of an engine sound, and it's a little bit ominous, and you're learning that something bad is about to happen as you step out in the next room, and you're at war.
We have a replica plane there that's overhead, so you can get a sense of the scale. So you can see some of the things that people were wearing. You can see some of the debris that floated back up to the top of the Pacific Ocean after the attack. And you can see some difficult film reels of the attack.
You hear the sound of war. You hear the sound of servicemen reacting to calls. You hear people telling stories, their accounts of the attack and how they lost friends.
I could see the black smoke streaming up from Pearl Harbor.
When the biggest torpedo I ever saw in my life.
Then a Japanese pilot flew low over the hospital.
That then transitions after you work your way into the afterwar efforts. Well, news reports first and then propaganda afterwards. You hear people reporting on Pearl Harbor, 75 years ago.
Once you come through the attack, you go through a Japanese internment camp, and you see how Japanese Americans were interred, and you can experience just a little bit of what life was like in America after the war.
And you hear the sound of the drums, and you hear the music as some of the propaganda post-war or post-attack and pre-war, when you're trying to move people's emotional hierarchy.
And finally, the exhibit ends with a connection to September 11th. So that intense fear, anxiety, and renewed patriotism that people felt after 9/11 was very similar to what people felt after Pearl Harbor.
We are so lucky to be partnered with Rex Knight. Rex Knight has this amazing collection of artifacts and photographs and letters and uniforms that he has spent a lifetime compiling, and all of this stuff has never been on display before.
The exhibit runs through the third week of March 2017 here at the Frazier. We're open 7 days a week. It's $12 to get in. We hope everyone will come to experience what happened, to experience that moment that pushed the United States into World War II. We want everybody to get a sense of what that was really like. So we've brought these artifacts in, and they're personal stories, so you can really get a sense of who the people were that fought and many who died and what that was for. So we hope everyone will come and experience it.